We have one nice size, I said medium size, whole chicken, cleaned of course. I like to make sure if I have a whole chicken that I get all the entrails out, and there's some organ meat of some sort. I don't know if it's organ meat, whatever it is usually in the backbone. So I like to get that out so it doesn't muddy the taste of the broth. Now, you don't have to start with the fresh chicken. If you have a store ready-made rotisserie, if you have some leftover chicken, you may also do this. I'm going to cook this chicken till it's falling off the bone, creating its own chicken broth. If you have a store-bought chicken, then I would suggest that you put it in some chicken broth and simmer it till it's falling off the bone. I'm going to be adding some cracked black pepper. You can use just regular black pepper. And since I'm making my own broth, I'm just going to season it with salt. At this point, you can add some herbs if you would like. I'm also going to cut up. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to cut up 1 clove of garlic. I do not want this garlicky. It should just add a nice note to your broth. Rough cut. It's just to flavor the broth again. If you have a broth recipe that you love, then by all means use it. But this is Southern style chicken and dumplings. We just do it simple. Remember the kiss. Keep it simple, sweetie. Now I'm going to add more water. So now I'm going to turn up the heat, then cover it up until it's a rolling boil. Then you cut it down to simmer. Alrighty, so I've turned off the stove top. It's still bubbling because it's still hot. I just took the top off. Also, I flipped the bird over. Well, so you can do one or two things. You can keep it in this liquid, or you can take it out to cool off. I'm actually going to take it out and put it on a large platter so it can cool down, and then I'll start deboning the chicken. So as you can see, I've shredded up all my chicken. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to taste my broth. This is actually the best time to season your broth. The flavors are good. I think it needs just a little bit more salt for my like. And as I've told you guys, you know, I love my pepper, a cracked black pepper. And I'm just bringing it back to a rolling boil there. Take out this here. So I'm just going to skim this right quick, just to make sure there's no bones, just skin that's stuck up here. I'm going to keep those onions. I'm going to keep that garlic in there. So at this time, we're going to add our dumplings in. Now I know you guys are like, why is there so much flour on it? Actually, do that. If you freeze it, of course you don't want to have all that flour on it. But I actually dust them with flour while they're drying out, because I know I'm going to put them in my pot here, and I'm not adding any cream of mushroom, cream of chicken soup. There's nothing that's in this broth that's going to thicken it. So that's why I dust my dumplings with flour as they're drying out. And of course I'm going to add them one by one as it's boiling. And stir it in between as you're putting them in. And if you like extra dumplings, just double the recipe. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it back down to a simmer. I'm going to cook these until they're very tender, and at that point I will add the chicken. But before I add the chicken, I will also still taste the broth. You will be stirring this occasionally just to make sure there's no sticking to the pot, to the sides. Normally they should be floating about this time. So, but you just want to make sure they're not sticking to the sides. It is a beautiful fall day. It's rainy, so I love the rain. I guess some of you guys wouldn't call it beautiful. So this is actually the perfect weather to have these chicken and dumplings. So you can see that the broth is clouding up a little, but my dumpling still has its shape. And I can tell that they're not ready yet. There we go. So I actually taste tested my dumpling. It's still firm, but it's pretty much done. So I'm gonna kick up the heat just a little. And it seems to me that I may need just a little bit more salt for my taste. So now I'm going to add my chicken. Now, of course, because I used a whole chicken, you got your white and your dark meat. I don't really shred mine, but you can shred yours if you like. I actually like large pieces of chicken in my chicken and dumpling. It makes it more heartier, a more hearty meal. That's a big piece of chicken right there. So you can see how nice and creamy that looks. Yeah, I really don't have to add any flour to this, but if yours is a bit on the thin side, you can actually take a little flour and a little flour in cold water and thicken up your broth that way. Okay, I'm gonna let that cook anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. And so there we have it. Creamy flat dumplings and chicken. So basically Southern style chicken and dumplings. And I just finished it off with a little black pepper on top.